Hello guys and welcome to South Africa, the southernmost country on the African continent, renowned for its natural beauty with 2,800 kilometers of coastline fronting both the Atlantic and Indian Oceans. They call it a rainbow nation because of its incredible cultural diversity. Think about it, there are 12 official languages, and luckily English is one of them. We'll visit all the major cities, good and bad neighborhoods, mountains, canyons and game reserves, and even a remote farm from the 18th century. Today, the country has over 63 million people of diverse origins. Let's start with the largest cities. Johannesburg. Johannesburg is situated in the northeastern part of the country, 455 kilometers from the ocean. It started as a small gold mine in town in 1886. Today, Johannesburg is the largest city in South Africa with a population of 5.6 million people. It is the seat of the Constitutional Court, the highest court in the country, and it's the wealthiest city on the African continent.
You know what it stands for? GP? Gangster's Paradise. Welcome to Johannesburg, the Gangster's Paradise. No, I'm just kidding with you. It actually stands for Gauteng Province, which is the smallest province of them all, but it has gold, so it has opportunities.
The city is served by Tambo International Airport. To get to the city, you can take a HOW train. This modern train began its operation in 2010 and travels at the speed of 160 kilometers an hour. It's clean and safe, but the number of stations is limited.
Allow passengers to disembark before.
Right off the bat, I realized crime was not a joke when I saw a security guard in a mall with a machine gun. Johannesburg isn't walkable. It's a sprawling conurbation similar in size to Los Angeles, with poorer neighborhoods sprinkled among wealthy suburbs. Let's look at some neighborhoods. CBD, or Central Business District, has a bad reputation. Under apartheid, it was a whites-only area, meaning that black people were allowed to work and shop there, but could not live there. After the fall of apartheid, due to white flight and urban decay, many of the buildings became abandoned as tenants left for more secure locations in the northern suburbs. Gandhi Square is situated in the heart of CBD. It's a busy urban hub of commercial and retail activity. Sometimes they compare it to the Times Square of New York City. There's a local bus terminal and a 24-hour security. I talked to a guy on a bench.
Live around this area?
So, no, I live in a shelter, so I mainly walk around, asking people for help. But yeah, I don't mug people, so don't worry, your camera's safe. Don't worry, your camera's safe. Yeah.
Appreciate that.
Yeah, don't worry, your camera's safe. Yeah, I don't mug people, so what brings me to the square? I'm familiar with a whole lot of people around here, so the people that pass here are the people that help me. So me, if I rob you, or if I rob him or her, who's gonna help me tomorrow?
Some of the landmarks include the Hillbrow Tower, the highest structure in the city, Constitution Hill, a former prison complex but now a museum that showcases the harsh realities that inmates faced during apartheid, including Nelson Mandela and Mahatma Gandhi. Apartheid Museum illustrates the events and human stories during that time. And Joburg Theater. It's a venue that stages both Broadway musicals and homegrown productions. Oh, look, Trevor Noah. Yes, he also comes from Johannesburg. CBD is not homogeneous. Some renovated parts look nice, like the mining district, which was turned into an open-air street museum with mining sculptures, street musicians and good number of restaurants. Or Mpumalanga precinct, that's been transformed from a cluster of warehouses to a space with street art, galleries, coffee shops, and high-end residential buildings.
Mpumalanga is literally the city of lights. So if you want to get an authentic feel for Johannesburg itself, come and see where the locals actually like to party.
It's very friendly, very safe, and even the people that you come across, they are very, very good people. Yeah.
Other successful examples include Victoria Yards, 44 Stanley, and the Playground, a Saturday market in Braamfontein, which I had a chance to visit. Food choices were great, including tacos and Indian curry. It was a little bit empty, but at least I bought a hat. But other areas of CBD look dodgy. Not only that, they are dangerous, like Hillbrow. It's a notorious neighborhood with a lot of violent crime, drug dealing, and prostitution. Even most locals wouldn't dare to go there.
What you guys do?
We just breathe. That's what we do.
Having a good time here?
And we smoke a lot of weed.
We love weed. We finally
And we have no
legalized
jobs.
weed. We finally legalized weed in SA. That's how
And we're happy for that.
Yeah.
And can you also please draw a gang sign?
we always
That's what's confusing about South Africa. You gotta know where you are. Most tourists just want to feel safe and not play the game of, is this area safe enough? But there have been significant movements to rejuvenate the city center. Look, for example, at Pointe City. This legendary 55-story cylindrical building with a core in the middle was built in 1975. But by the 1990s, it was hijacked and many gangs moved into the building and it became extremely unsafe. However, in 2007, the building changed ownership and it was redeveloped. And when they cleaned up the 14-story tall pile of trash in the core of the building, they found 23 dead bodies. So you can only imagine what kind of misery its residents had to go through. Today it's safe and even has Airbnb on the top floors.
Well, we installed about 480 cameras in and around the building to help with security. Ponte is safe. We've got 24-hour security here, and we don't really have any incidents here at Ponte.
But the city still has over 100 hijacked buildings, so there's plenty of work to be done. In case you're curious, we're going to visit one in my Joburg video. Locals believe CBD has so much potential. I mean, look at some of these magnificent buildings. This is Rissik Street Post Office built in 1897. But it's been abandoned for years. And now with G20 Summit coming up in 2025, there are plans to gentrify some of these areas. Thousands of CCTV cameras have already been installed, which decreased crime dramatically. Now let's talk to some wonderful people. Meet Ade, a developer from Britain.
What I actually like to do is renovate. Back in 2005, my colleague said to me, don't go to town, you'll get shot. That's what they said to me. It's like, oh, okay. I took a drive one night and I'm driving around, it's like, it's not that bad. It's more that, when I used to work for one of the top payments companies in the world, is when you work for those kind of companies, your colleagues are from a certain set and the people are just different. So I think sometimes people are afraid of people who are different. And I felt that with town, that was actually what the problem was. There's all sorts of political issues over the last 10, 15 years, but you're seeing that there's much more investment in Johannesburg. You're seeing that the streets are clean, the lights are working, and people are starting to invest. And I'm getting more and more people, rather than just wanting a weekend away with a jacuzzi and something like that, they actually want to look at town. They're looking for investment and they want to just see what it's like from the inside and get their own view of that. So that's more and more what we're getting from across Africa, actually. From across Africa, people are coming.
Is CBD a safe place these days?
For the most part it is. There are parts I wouldn't go to and I wouldn't recommend people go to. But for the most part, down here in the Marshallstown side, south of the railway lines, around the banks, around the mining district, as you can see, this part of the city was built on the back of the mine, so hence the mining headgear. Down here you're safe. You're under 24-hour security surveillance. You've got guards in the streets. You'll be fine here.
You mentioned in the conversation that you might be safer here than in Sandton.
Yes. Statistically speaking, you are safer here and on Gandhi Square than you are in the center of Sandton most days.
Okay, and it's because of all the steps that you guys have implemented.
And also just the nature and the design of the city. To actually commit a crime, contact crime, is very difficult because you can't run away that easily. There's always traffic, there's always people around, you're under camera watch, there's security all over the place. It's not that easy to commit a crime and get away with it in the city.
Sports is another tool to prevent crime and drug abuse. And I made my contribution. Look. Another interesting neighborhood to visit is Soweto. Under apartheid government, many black South Africans were forcefully relocated from the city to Soweto. It once had a bad reputation, but Soweto has come a long way since the dark days of the 1980s. What I saw was good roads, shopping malls, and a huge focus on sports with a number of stadiums like F&B Stadium, which hosted FIFA games, Orlando Stadium, and Nike Football Training Center, which was filled with people. The Hector Peterson Memorial and Museum is dedicated to preserve the memory of the 1976 Soweto uprisings. Soweto Towers are a prominent landmark. They are in fact cooling towers. For a decommissioned coal-fired power station, today they're used for bungee and base jumping from a platform between the top of the two towers, as well as a bungee swing in one of the towers. The most famous street is Willakazi Street. This is where Nelson Mandela and our Bishop Desmond Tutu used to live, both Nobel Peace Prize laureates. It was Desmond Tutu who coined the term Rainbow Nation to describe post-apartheid South Africa after the country's first democratic election in 1994. What you see is a performance of Zulu people. It's the largest ethnic group in South Africa, followed by Xhosa people, famous for their clicking language. Now let me try to speak some Zulu.
Sawubona unjani?
Siyaphila unjani?
Siyaphila. Nikigela coffee?
Any coffee? Okay. Amazing.
Oh.
Thank you.
What really surprised me was the vibes of Soweto. As we were leaving around 5 p.m., the whole city felt like a party place. Everybody outside, drinking, dancing, walking, and partying. At the same time, Johannesburg has some very affluent areas, like Sandton, which replaced CBD as the new financial hub. It hosts Johannesburg Stock Exchange, the largest in Africa, company's headquarters, and Nelson Mandela Square, a large shopping district resembling a traditional European town square, as well as Monte Casino, a popular leisure and casino complex. Yes, gambling is legal in South Africa. Sandton is where you find the fourth wealthiest neighborhood in the country, Sandhurst, with an average home price of $1 million, and the city's most luxurious hotel, Saxon Hotel, where Beyonce and Jay-Z, Oprah, and other celebrities stay for $5,000 a night.
And apparently it's the best hotel in the whole of Johannesburg.
But you can always come here to have lunch.
Is the exact same sandwich for Mr. David.
Rosebank is another northern neighborhood. It's a trendy suburb with an outdoorsy atmosphere, bars, hotels, clubs, and several shopping malls including the Mall of Rosebank and The Zone. Another one is Melrose Arch. It's a stylish neighborhood with high-end fashion stores, cafe culture, and supercar dealerships. Waterfall City is one of the recent urban developments, hosting the Mall of Africa and Munyaka, a gated community with its own 3-hectare crystal-clear lagoon. This is the biggest artificial beach in Africa. If you thought that was impressive, wait till you see Stein City, another neighborhood that stretches across 2,000 acres of lush parkland with golf courses, artificial ponds, and some impressive real estate. One mention in particular was listed at $14 million some 4 years ago. As you can tell, the wealth gap between different areas is jaw-dropping. Joburg is not just a concrete jungle. There are also areas like Zoo Lake, a popular spot for picnicking, walking your dog, or taking a boat ride. Look, this nice gentleman came to feed the geese. Outside of Joburg, you'll find beautiful countryside in places like Hartbeespoort Dam, where you can take a cable car to get to the top of the mountain and enjoy the views. If you ask me, these areas remind me of small-town America.
Hello, what's your name?
Cassie.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
And you guys?
My name's Aiden, he's Caleb, and he's Mason.
Oh, good. And what brings you here today?
We just finished exams today. My eldest son finished exams today, so we're just celebrating with the waffle.
What do you want to be when you grow up?
I want to be a scientist.
Right. In what field?
I want to do astronautics.
Wow.
I know what I want to be, black ops. I want to be a police.
Okay, you want to catch criminals. Okay, guys. Well, you enjoy your day. It's a beautiful area. Yeah, I like it.
Now, let's relocate to the second largest city of South Africa, Cape Town. It's located at the extreme southwestern portion of South Africa. The city has a Mediterranean climate. It's the country's oldest city and the legislative capital of South Africa. Cape Town feels completely different from Johannesburg, more like a resort town. It's a playground for the rich and famous, with thousands of supercars, yachts, and fancy homes. The population today is 4.7 million people. Cape Town International Airport is some 25 minutes away from the city, and renting a car seems like the best option. If you're wondering where to stay, Sea Point, Greenpoint, or V&A Waterfront will all be nice and safe options. You can start your day like a local by going jogging along the famous Sea Point Promenade or join a group for some morning exercises.
Morning.
Sea Point is an affluent suburb, famous for its beachfront apartments and the many bars and restaurants that line its streets. You can go hiking or take a cable car up the Table Mountain and enjoy some morning coffee with a fascinating view on top of this iconic landmark that was voted one of the 7 wonders of nature.
And it attracts 4.2 million visitors every year. Now, the flora and fauna of Table Mountain National Park is very unique because 70% of it is endemic, meaning the species of plants and animals can only be found here and nowhere else in the world.
Like fynbos, a unique mixture of natural vegetation in southwestern South Africa. The V&A waterfront is a bustling area of Cape Town with lots of street entertainers, dancers and musicians. There is a heavy security presence, so safety is not an issue. It is home to some luxurious apartments at Waterfront Marina. There are so many things to do. Ride the Cape Wheel, take a sunset cruise, go kayaking at Battery Park, or visit the Diamond Museum or the aquarium. I've been to a dozen aquariums around the world, and let me tell you, this one is a top-tier one. Cape Town CBD is so much nicer compared to Johannesburg's.
It doesn't have bad smells, lots of beautiful architecture, and I think you should definitely visit it when you come to Cape Town.
It has some magnificent historical buildings such as Cape Town City Hall, a large Edwardian building built in 1905. This is where Nelson Mandela gave a famous speech after his release from prison. And the Castle of Good Hope, a 17th century bastion fort. Can you believe that's the oldest building in the country? And of course, in CBD you find Houses of Parliament, because Cape Town is the seat of the Parliament of South Africa. Lawn Street is a party street, and every first Thursday of every month they have a party day. Streets are filled with young people partying and going crazy.
Feeling the vibe?
It's happening, yeah. B Street. And you're from Colombia, we here for the party.
Where are you going to? Which club or bar?
Okay, the club right there. We have good nights.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
It's awesome.
If you want to take some cool pictures with colorful houses, visit Bo-Kaap. It once was a Malaysian, Indian, and Indonesian slaves' quarter, but now it's a vibrant neighborhood. All these houses used to be white, now they're all colorful. But the local birds did not appreciate my presence, and the bravest one of them hit my drone like a kamikaze pilot. Oh no, silly bird. The drone survived. Thank you DJI for making sturdy drones. What I loved about Cape Town is the fact that you can explore in every direction and find plenty of things to do.
What? No steering wheel? All right. I just keep forgetting they have their steering wheel on the right side.
You can visit small towns like Simonstown, which is home to a naval base, and the nearby Boulders Beach, which is home to a colony of adorable African penguins. These charming creatures will captivate both children and adults alike. You can visit the town of Hermanus to see the whales, or Hout Bay to see sea lions. Continue your journey and visit the Cape of Good Hope, the southwesternmost point of the African continent. Take a leisurely stroll along the cliff paths, but watch out for indigenous wildlife, such as baboons and ostriches.
Well guys, this is Cape of Good Hope, and the first explorer to ever do a modern rounding of the Cape was Bartolomeu Dias, who was a Portuguese explorer. He did it all the way in 1487. Wow. And actually, this is the point when, you follow in the western coast of Africa, and that's the point when you start going eastward instead of southward, all right? Yeah, and he actually gave this place the name of Cape of Storms because it's not exactly famous for good weather. It's mostly storms, a lot of ships wrecked here, but later I guess they had some hope in the Cape and they renamed it to Cape of Good Hope.
There are so many fantastic beaches to choose from. Like Clifton Beach, it's located along the most expensive suburb in the country with an average home price of $1.4 million. Or Camps Bay Beach, known for its fine white sand, natural rock swimming pools, and views of the 12 Apostles Mountains. The Camps Bay Promenade is lined with a variety of attractions, numerous coffee shops and restaurants with a gorgeous sea view. Now look at Landando Beach. It's for those who love secluded places. Or Long Beach. Look how long it is. And if you like surfing, check out Muizenberg Beach.
I've been surfing for quite a while.
A few years. I'm quite new to surfing.
Yeah, I've been surfing for a few years.
And is this the main surfing beach in the area?
Yeah, in the area, this is the main surfing beach for mainly beginners and people that want to learn. Because there's like surf lessons and stuff. They do surf lessons.
Right.
Yeah.
Cape Town is a place that truly does offer something for travelers of every style and every age. If you're looking for a nature escape, visit Kirstenbosch Botanical Gardens.
Dedicated to South Africa's indigenous flora, and it's home to over 22,000 different plant species.
Or simply jump into the car and drive along the coast. I guarantee you'll be saying, wow, look at that, multiple times. Especially on Chapman's Peak Drive, one of the most scenic roads in the world, that winds along the rocky red cliffs while overlooking the Atlantic Ocean. Now, my friend Adam wanted me to try some local food.
Slava, so I'm bringing you here to Cozy Corner. It's one of my favorite places to get Gatsby.
Oh, you can't be serious. For the two of us?
This is a full house steak, masala steak Gatsby. Okay, it's got, the reason why they call it full house is it's got cheese on it, it's got egg, it's got the masala steak, it's got chips, it's got salad.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's all on this roll, yeah.
But I think it's for a football team.
You just hold it like that.
Whoa.
With both hands like this.
Look at you, yeah.
And you just go for it. This is unique to Cape Town.
Some 40 minutes away from Cape Town, you can visit Stellenbosch, South Africa's most famous wine region, with over 350 wineries. You can take a wine tram in the town of Franschhoek and visit a number of wineries and sample different wines all in one day. And I thought it was a brilliant idea because you don't want people to be driving drunk.
Cheers, guys.
Oh, cheers.
I don't know if any UK people from UK follow you, but if they do, you can do like a pub crawl, but with wine farms from wherever you want it into the town.
I wouldn't quite say a pub crawl. I would say more of a wine tasting experience.
If you're earning money in the UK and you bring that money here, it goes a lot further and everything's sort of half the price.
Anyways, cheers, 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 cheers.
Cape Town is addictive. I asked many locals if they would consider moving anywhere else.
I wouldn't. I wouldn't. It's hard to pick another place if you have everything at your fingertips.
Listen, you can talk about the scenery every day, and everywhere around the world's got its beauty, but there's an essence in Cape Town. It's the best parts of humanity, in my opinion. We've got so many races coming together, we've got so many cultures coming together, so many religions coming together, but ultimately people here have got a great heart. And I love Cape Townians, I love South Africans. I've traveled far and wide, and there's something here, and the only way I can explain it is you've got to have to go and have a few beers and break bread with people. Then you'll understand the heart. And South Africans will take the shirt off their backs for you, and Cape Townians are no different. And I've got to tell you, coloured people in Cape Town, the best. They've got the best sense of humour.
So Cape Town, just as Joburg, has a reputation for having a lot of crime. Is that really the case?
That's true, yeah. I think maybe Cape Town is a little bit safer than Joburg, I would say. I've had bad things happen to me before. I've been attacked personally before. Two guys tried to rob me. I got stabbed. Two guys, attacked me. They stabbed me in my arm over here. Last year also, I got attacked in a bar fight. And I had nothing to do with it. I was just trying to help out. Some guy stabbed me in the back. Wow. I think it was with a broken bottle or something.
Right.
So yeah, crime does affect us all, yeah. Right. That's the sad part about this beautiful place.
Tourist part of Cape Town and non-tourist part are like two different worlds. One moment you're in Camps Bay, sipping sparkling wine, admiring the sea view, and some 20 minutes away you can find yourself in an informal settlement with no electricity or water. I took a township tour. We visited Langa, one of the first townships, home to 52,000 people. This is what it looks like. They showed us the local cultural center where people draw, do pottery, make custom jackets and play drums. It was a good experience. Now, let's relocate to the third largest city, Durban. It's a city with a population of 4.2 million located in KwaZulu-Natal province. It's situated on the Indian Ocean coast. My first impression was that Durban is incredibly beautiful. As you're approaching the city, the area is unbelievably green. Wineries, horses and cattle, sort of like Virginia. They call it the Miami of South Africa. It has a similar climate and lots of Art Deco buildings, just like Miami Beach. Some of the nice places to visit are Ushaka Marine World. That's a popular water park with an aquarium. The Durban Botanical Gardens is a gorgeous park that showcases African plant species.
Did you guys know that Durban Botanical Gardens is the oldest botanical garden in the whole country of South Africa? Yeah, it's true. 175 years old.
My tour guide Ruth told us about a local plant that most likely will go extinct.
And what's really special is what we have behind here, which is cycad woody. So there is only male plants that are still exist. They have never found any female plants out in nature. So once these plants are actually died, they're going to be extinct. So that's one of the real special plants that we still have in the botanical gardens.
Sugar refining is one of Durban's main industries. South Africa produces 20 million tons of sugarcane a year. Durban CBD seems kind of sketchy with lots of homeless people, so I don't recommend going alone. But it has some historical architecture like Durban City Hall, an Edwardian neo-Baroque style building, almost an exact replica of Belfast City Hall in Northern Ireland. Or the Durban Central Post Office, a Victorian style building that was originally erected in 1885 as Durban's first town hall, but now it's in a very rundown state. Durban has the largest port in sub-Saharan Africa. And this is the oldest yacht club in the country, Royal Natal Yacht Club, established in 1858. Sometimes it gets almost comical. You see hundreds of luxury yachts, and from the same spot, you can see a hijacked building with broken windows. Florida Road is one of the city's trendiest streets.
And this place has a lot of historical buildings, lots of cafes, and lots of things to do. And it's one of the most popular spots in the city.
Here people gather to shop, eat, drink, and enjoy Durban's seemingly endless summer. Durban is ethnically diverse, with Zulus forming the largest single ethnic group, followed by Indians. In fact, Durban has the largest population of Indians outside of India. And I thought this was a good place to try some bunny chow. It's a local dish consisting of a hollowed-out loaf of bread filled with curry. Substantial and delicious. The area around Victoria Street Market is always super busy. You can visit the market if you're looking for some authentic Indian spices, Zulu traditional attires, or traditional herbs. This area is predominantly Muslim, and there's a historic Juma Mosque built in 1930.
Emmanuel Cathedral and Juma Mosque, okay.
Yes, yeah. They do work together, and they have always worked together. So the bishop, which was Bishop Hurley, and the imam, they always work together. As in, like, also demonstrating against apartheid in the old days. And in a month's time, we're going to have Christmas. So what will happen, the Muslims actually go to the mass in the cathedral. And when it's Ramadan or the end of Ramadan, the Christians will go across to the mosque and celebrate the end of Ramadan together. So where else in the world do you find that?
Isn't that beautiful?
But the number one attraction in the city is the Durban Golden Mile. It's an 8-kilometer long stretch of gorgeous golden sands where locals love to go jogging, swimming, and enjoying the warm waters of the Indian Ocean. Durban was one of the host cities of the 2010 FIFA World Cup, for which the Moses Mabhida Stadium was built. This gave the city the world recognition and a chance to grow tourism. But then the reputation was ruined, and now tourism is on the decline. Why? I hate to sound like a broken record, but it needs to be said. Durban, like other South African cities, has a serious crime problem. Sad because it has all it takes to become a fantastic tourist resort. Just north of Durban, you'll find affluent coastal towns of Ballito and Mpumalanga. They both seemed nice, but I didn't get a chance to explore much or fly my drone because it was a super windy day.
We finally got to the Indian Ocean, guys. This is Mpumalanga, which is part of Durban. And of course, Indian Ocean is warmer than the Atlantic. But it's so windy today. So I don't feel like going swimming. Nah, not today.
Smell of the sea is so good. Oh, I've been missing this.
And just like in other cities, you will find a lot of informal settlements around town. At least this one is on a hill, so it gets a great view. And finally, let's visit the fourth largest city, Pretoria. Pretoria has a population of 2.8 million people, and it's the administrative capital, serving as the seat of the executive branch of government, situated just 56 kilometers away from Johannesburg. Pretoria is famous for jacaranda trees, and it bursts into vibrant shades of purple during springtime. Too bad I was a little too late for the blooming season. We started our city tour with Church Square. This square is surrounded by several historically important buildings: the Tudor Chambers, the Old Council Hall, and the Post Office. However, the most notable is the Palace of Justice, where Mandela and other ANC revolutionaries were tried and sentenced during the historic Rivonia trial. The dominant feature of the square is the statue of President Kruger in a tall hat with a cane. But honestly, Church Square has seen better days. It's hard to admire the masterpieces of the past and pretend not to notice the stench of urine in the air. It kind of ruins the experience. There are lots of homeless people and beggars. One rough-looking gentleman started approaching us with unclear intentions, and we had to retreat like the voetrekkers from the British. There's also an abandoned 1930s Capitol Theater, which we sneaked into to admire its past glory. Even the Sheraton Hotel that we visited for coffee was empty. Look, even the pool has turned green. Is this a ghost town? The Union Buildings are a modern-day Acropolis. They're built at the highest point of the city, and it's the official seat of South Africa's government and houses the presidency. They were completed in 1913, and they were designed to symbolize the unity of a divided people, notably the English and Afrikaners, in the establishment of the Union government. In Pretoria, you find the largest university in South Africa by enrollment, the University of South Africa, UNISA. It attracts a third of all higher education students in the country. Did you know Pretoria is where Elon Musk used to live?
Well, guys, we are in Waterkloof. It's a very wealthy part of Pretoria. And apparently this is where Elon Musk used to live, because you know he comes from South Africa and from Pretoria. And this is where we are. Looks like Beverly Hills. Sorry, Elon, if I made you feel homesick.
Mr. Musk grew up and lived in Pretoria and occasionally around Durban, in a very upscale neighborhood, I must say. And some even say he was driving a Bentley. Well, good for him. Now he's driving a Tesla. Pretoria also has a crime problem. Surprise, surprise. In fact, according to Statista, it's the second most dangerous city in Africa. In order to feel safe, suburban communities have to hire private security who respond much faster than the cops. The Voetrekker Monument is a symbolic landmark that stands as a testament to the Voetrekkers, that is, Afrikaners who left the British Cape Colony and embarked on the Great Trek during the 1830s and 1840s. You'll see artifacts, ox wagons, historical documents and paintings that vividly recount the challenges faced by the Voetrekkers. Some 40 kilometers east of Pretoria, you find Cullinan Mine, which is famous for being home of the largest gem diamond ever recorded, as well as being the world's most important source of blue diamonds. It looks enormous. Alright, enough of large cities. South Africa has so many natural wonders. What is this? This is one of the best preserved meteorite impact craters in the world.
Well, guys, some 220,000 years ago, this stony, blazing meteorite hit the Earth, probably killing everything in the vicinity. It's been 220 years. This impact's been filled with water, and now it's just a beautiful sight. And really, no other tourists in the area. It's so interesting how, South African tourism is just at a very beginning stage, because, there should be like people taking pictures, but we're the only ones.
If you're thinking of taking a road trip in South Africa, there are so many routes you can take. The Garden route from Cape Town to Port of Elizabeth, from Joburg to Cape Town, and from Joburg to Durban and then to Mpumalanga. Gas is expensive though, $1.1 a liter or $4 a gallon. Around Durban you can find Drakensberg Mountains. That's the highest mountain range in southern Africa, a UNESCO World Heritage Site. It is famous for its hiking routes with trails for all abilities. If you love breathtaking views, and who doesn't, you gotta visit Mpumalanga province in eastern South Africa, bordering Eswatini and Mozambique. Mpumalanga means place where the sun rises. 68% of land area in the province is used by agriculture. Mpumalanga has been an important supplier of fruit and vegetables for local and international markets for decades.
Did you guys know that Mpumalanga is the breadbasket of South Africa? If you look around, there's different orchards. You have oranges and many fruit, even exotic fruits like mangoes. If you look over here, you will see a lot of mangoes.
I recommend taking the Panorama route. It's an incredibly scenic area. The route starts at the town of Grasskop and includes places like God's Window that offers stunning views of the vast area with lush green valleys and rugged cliffs. There are so many waterfalls like Lisbon Falls, Berlin Falls, just too many to remember. This place is called Burke's Luck Potholes. During the Golden Rush era, Mr. Tom Burke was among other gold diggers hoping to find gold in these potholes.
There's just so many natural beauties in this area, is dotted with them. It's unbelievable, guys. It's amazing. You have to come here when you go to visit Kruger National Park.
The Pinnacle Rock is a freestanding rock monolith rising from the thick surrounding bush like a lone sentinel. Grasskop Gorge Lift is a recreation area with a glass lift descending into the gorge, with a zip line and a suspension bridge. It's not for those who are afraid of heights. The Three Rondavels is a natural rock formation on the edge of the Blythe River Canyon. And finally, the Blythe River Canyon itself, the third largest canyon in the world and the world's greenest canyon due to its lush subtropical foliage. The good thing is that you can combine a Mpumalanga trip with a visit to the Kruger Park. Many people visit South Africa because of its nature game reserves, and the largest one of them is the Kruger National Park. It's enormous, 19.6 thousand square kilometers, almost the size of Israel.
Okay, we're inside the Kruger National Park, and I thought it would take us a long time to see the animals, but really, we saw a monkey right away, we saw a turtle crossing the road, and now we got to see a lot of elephants. And this is so amazing, because I never expected to see animals in the wild, like elephants in the wild, you know, grazing on the grass like cows, and that's literally what's happening, you know. On both sides of the road, you see animals here and there. I'm blown away. It's awesome.
We saw many elephants, giraffes, springboks, and many other animals in their natural habitat. However, this is a big place and there are no guarantees which animals you're going to see. There are some fancy hotel options inside the park, like Kruger Shalati. It's a hotel inside of a train on a bridge. They also have a restaurant inside another train. This is where we stop to have breakfast.
Oh, seems like our breakfast is ready. That is exciting. Thank you very much. Feeling like you're back in the 19th century traveling the countryside.
However, we stayed in a different hotel, Blythe Canyon Wildlife Lodge. It's quite a place. It was like staying in the jungle. And this is what my room looked like. Zebras, monkeys, and occasionally they see a hippo in the local river. It was an amazing experience for some $70 a night with a breakfast.
Thank you so much for staying at Blythe River Wilderness Lodge. See you soon. Bye.
It's becoming a norm for people to drive around the Kruger Park in their sedans. But what are you going to do if you have a tire puncture? And that's exactly what happened to us. Imagine being stuck in the middle of a wildlife park the size of Israel. What makes the situation even worse is that there's no cell phone coverage in the park. And if it weren't for the wonderful German couple who accidentally happened to be passing through, we'd be in for a lot of trouble because we were stuck in some back road in the middle of nowhere, some 30 kilometers away from civilization, where you might not see another car for a couple days. So don't travel alone, it's not safe. Wait, is that a hyena? I couldn't help but notice how South Africa is so similar to the US. The way the cities are built, the racial problems, the wealth gap, the reliance on cars, the sketchy downtowns and the nice suburbs, and the problem with illegal immigrants crossing the border on foot. At the end of apartheid, many people had high expectations, but they were disappointed. Can you believe that in the 21st century, the country experiences infrastructural problems like water shortages and load shedding, that is, blackouts? Many people proudly told me, we haven't had load shedding for 6 months, as if it shouldn't be an issue in the first place. Water shortages in Joburg is real. One time we went to a gas station to get some coffee, only to find out there's no water in the entire district. Unemployment is at a shocking 32%. I've seen people get very creative to make some money, like dancing at the intersections or juggling at a gas station. Crime continues to be a major concern. After dark, it's not safe anywhere. Kidnappings are on the rise, often targeting tourists. People live in gated communities, but even that does not guarantee your home won't be broken into. 1.4 million home robberies every year.
Has anything ever happened to you that would raise concern?
I have an interesting story. On my way to work, so we got this off-ramp to go to Melrose Arch, and I just had a weird bad feeling, like something struck me in that moment. 3 seconds, not even 3 seconds later, this guy with a gun, tock.
Wow.
And my car is automatic, so it's a guy who's probably thinking it was a manual, so I sped off out of there, you know what I mean?
Wow.
So, be aware that stuff can happen. Carjacking is a reality,
Wow.
you know what I mean?
I think you told me that, especially driving at night in the city, sometimes you want to ignore the red lights because the intersections can be targeted places.
Yeah, so the other day when we went to Four Ways, you saw that thing saying high dangerous, like that signal saying high dangerous place.
Yeah.
So at night, when you get to an intersection, if nobody's in the intersection, you see it's safe to go, just go. You know what I mean? Don't stay there like a sitting duck.
But I don't want to scare you. If you come as a tourist and stick to tourist places, you're going to be just fine. I believe the country has so much potential and it's being mismanaged. At the same time, I met so many people that see that potential and have a vision of how to turn things around.
When I was in 2012 the first time, I fell in love with Johannesburg CBD because it's like a small New York, Prime real estate for grabs there, super affordable buildings, I don't know how you as an international investor, you don't come here and just buy the whole buildings in Johannesburg CBD because it's just there for grabs. You can make so much money.
What are some things that make you proud to be South African?
South Africans are, to me, the warmest people. Hospitable, accepting, and with a South African, you can sort of, in a conversation, you can go deep quite fast. There's no sort of superficial, you can get deep and talk about serious things quite quickly. Right. So I think that's probably the best quality, is the South Africans themselves. Yeah.
That's good.
So, yeah, and our country's got a diverse history, like most countries, good and bad, and unfortunate things, and we had a turbulent past with apartheid. And, people were looking for something new, and what I think was Bishop Desmond Tutu's dubbed us the Rainbow Nation, but we never really became that. And unfortunately, a lot of things that were handed to the new ANC government on a plate were corruption and crime, just robbed every South African, black and white, of a prosperous future that we could have been. But corruption and crime took that away. If anything, the ANC stoked racial division because it excused their terrible failures as a government. Okay. So there's quite a few little parties, but politics are politics, so who knows. But things are looking more positive now than they were last year.
Anyway, I enjoyed my trip to South Africa, and I can say that it was one of the most memorable trips I've ever taken. I have not explored everything, of course. In fact, I barely scratched the surface, which means I will be back for more. Thanks for watching this video, guys, and let me know in the comments what surprised you the most about South Africa and which city impressed you the most. Thank you, and I'll see you in my next video.